What if you are depressed, you're way overweight, you're anxious, you got a lot of things against you, and many people will be put on medications and told to just eat less and move more, and that's some of the advice that they may get. Now, David, who basically was in this position, he was 38 years old, working as a shipping clerk for a sheet metal company. For years, he'd been getting sicker and sicker. He had stated that for a significant portion of his life, he's been fighting depression and anxiety.
Depression, anxiety. Say about 4 years ago, I came across keto, and I tried that out for about 3-4 months. I ended up losing about 20 pounds, but then I fell off of it and gained it all back plus some. So I ended up about 238 pounds.
He went up to 238 pounds. Waist size ballooned up to 42 inches. Now, this is significant because we know that central adiposity, particularly when it's associated with visceral fat, leads to a number of health issues. In fact, a study in the British Medical Journal found that the waist to height ratio was far more important for predicting accumulation of visceral fat than things like BMI. And our ratio should we look at should certainly be less than 1/2. That is to say, your waist circumference should be below half of your height. Now, unfortunately, at a 42-inch waist, David was not 84 inches tall, which would be quite tall. It's 7 feet tall, and he wasn't there. As bad as this was, things were about to get worse.
Basically, this shoulder, I couldn't lift my arm higher than this.
He was unfortunately in a car accident, severely damaged his shoulder, tearing one of the major rotator cuff tendons known as the supraspinatus. Now, this is, in my experience, a very commonly torn tendon. We see that all the time in degenerative rotator cuff disease. Now, most of that, I've come to realize is related to poor metabolic health. The tissue just gets worse and worse and worse and finally starts to tear apart.
And I was in severe pain the whole time, still working. And I remember I came to a point, I was like, I'm just tired of being in pain. And I remember when I was on keto that it did help my inflammation, but I had listened to some podcasts about the carnivore diet and everything. I used to think it's crazy. I was like, oh, that's so strict. I'm not going to be able to do that. But I was in so much pain and I was so tired of it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes. So I went cold turkey, started carnivore diet.
Some people try this in a cold turkey sort of fashion. So how did that turn out for him? Well,
within 1 week, I had no more pain.
Completely gone, which was very, very surprising. His diet was extremely simple. He was getting a great amount of bioavailable protein, which is helping him to heal. A 2022 study showed that meat provides the most balanced and most bioavailable protein of any dietary options that we have out there. So this works great for injuries. And we know that when we have an injury or a wound or a surgical injury, sometimes we need to increase our protein. Some studies will suggest up to 15%. Now, what was he eating?
I started eating eggs every morning. For lunch, I would have a pork chop or steak. And then for dinner, I would have some chicken or mainly steak. Red meat, I feel the best on.
All this animal product, surely he's going to put on weight. Well, no.
As a side effect, all my weight just started to go away. After 3 months, I came off my antidepressants. All my acne, I had severe back acne at the time. My wife used ointment on me and everything trying to clear it up. Nothing seemed to work. All of that cleared up. As of today, I'm at 48 pounds down.
There was a 2020 study in the Frontiers of Pharmacology that found that low-carb ketogenic cell diets provide a neurotrophic, antioxidant, neuroprotective, and anti-inflammatory properties into the central nervous system, which has, one of the reasons why he was able to come off his medications and see his depression go away. Now he lost almost 50 pounds. His waist size went from 42 inches to now 32 inches, which put him in a healthy range from a weight to height ratio.
I was going on about a 42-inch waist, and I'm fitting in a 32.
Wow.
And I don't think I've been a 32 since my mom used to buy my clothes. I probably was in elementary school.
He started to hit PRs in the gym every day. We noted that his mind and brain worked much better. The fog that sort of made it difficult to make decisions cleared up completely. He finds that he was used to struggling to get up out of bed. Now he pops out of bed, crushes some eggs and off to work. It's much easier to solve issues at work. Puzzles around shipping and scheduling have gone much better. The brain likes a stable fuel supply. Ketones are that. They're very, slow burning. They are very stable and steady, whereas, glucose can be very labile. It can shift back and forth very quickly. Also reductions in inflammation help the brain function better. How complicated or expensive is David's diet? Well, he's actually saving money.
So we've actually saved money getting on this diet. And I'm not buying my medication. I'm not buying the acne cream. All those things that my previous diet were causing me to have to spend money on, it's all gone.
A lot of money on all these unnecessary foods, supplements, they're not necessary anymore. There was some cost initially. He noted that he had some GI upset very early on, but he was able to quickly adapt to that. And so he adds some butter to cook in. He chooses fattier cuts of steak. If he has some shrimp, he'll cook it in. Milk can cause some problems and bloating. Raw milk he did a little better with. Some people, as we know, don't make lactase, or at least persistently into adulthood, so they end up having that. And we have a video that just talks about some of the issues around dairy. Now, he also has a couple of cats that he put them on carnivore, and they went from laying around to playful like kittens. Remember, cats are obligate carnivores. Humans, I would argue, are facultative carnivores, meaning they can eat an omnivorous diet, but they do really good when they have a heavily carnivorous diet, which is what we seem to find over and over again. The thing that blew his mind was how easy this diet was. It was just super simple.
And the thing that just, it blows my mind is that it's so easy. Once you get to a point where your body's acclimated to it, it's just smooth sailing. My whole body changed. When I'm in the bathroom and I don't have my shirt on, and I start seeing these new little dimples or something that shows up on my obliques, I'm like, I have definition. It just astounds me. I'm like, how did that happen? I haven't even worked hard. First time in my life I can actually do a proper pull-up.
And to think that such simple nutrition without all these supplements and complicated schemes can get you healthy with just eating plenty of meat. Again, his whole entire body, mind, and outlook has changed now that he is actually a healthy, functioning human being. He's actually one of our coaches and doing quite well with that. This is one of the great things. You go from being sick and dependent to one of the persons that is a example and taking other people and improving their health. So anyway, this is once again another amazing result, which I fortunately get to see almost on a daily basis. And so this is very doable. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this is something you could do or something you've tried? Or do you know somebody that would benefit from that? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking this out. Share this with somebody you think would benefit that might have similar issues going on with depression, chronic pain, obesity. I think all those things can be resolved with proper nutrition. Nutrition that's not that difficult, kind of easy to stick to. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.